everyone! It's that time of year again. Well, December, and basically Batman Resurrection doesn't take place in December. It takes place in October, but I'm still going to talk about it because I'm wearing the Batman Returns shirt, and I like to do my theme of trying to get a Batman Christmas video kind of out almost every year. And what better way to do that than, last year I didn't do it because I was dealing with some sick problems, but other than that, what better way to do that than talk about this new book that I read? Well, it's not new, it came out last year, but it's new to me and I read it. I'm going to be talking about both Batman Resurrection and Batman Revolution. I'm going to be doing my dream team project of making Batman Resurrection. How would I make it? Who would direct it? Who would I get to voice who? Who would I get to play who? It's going to be fun. Everyone knows that I'm a big, massive Batman Returns fan, obviously. Everyone knows that I have an obsession, unhealthy obsession, with the Burton-verse of Batman. And obviously I do, because I did have John Jackson Miller on the channel. I met John Jackson Miller in person back in October. Super cool dude. I happened to meet him by happenstance. He was awesome. And I gave a little hint to my video that I'm going to be talking about my dream team cast for Batman Resurrection and a project for how Batman Resurrection should be made to continue on the Burton-verse. These are solid sequels, by the way. This one especially is really freaking good. I have read the book front to back, and I will do some slight spoilers, but not really when I talk about this. So don't freak out, don't worry. I'm not going to spoil the entire plots of the book. I'm just going to talk about how maybe they could do it and how hopefully they would do it about Batman Resurrection and Batman Revolution. So, let's get started. Let's start going in what format, what voice cast, what directors I would get for Batman Resurrection and Batman Revolution. Let's get started, and let's start dream teaming this stuff. Let's go! Okay, well, let's start out in the vein of animation style. This one is going to be kind of tricky, but I personally think regular 2D animation should do it. Preferably the guys that worked on either Under the Red Hood or The Killing Joke. The way that they draw Batman out, they give him exquisite features and etc. And I think that they could probably capture the Burton-verse very well. If not, get the guys who worked on Batman the Animated Series to come back. They would do really, really well. Next up is the composer. Well, I don't have a director in mind you, but I'm not going to name any specific director, but composers, you got to bring back Danny Elfman. Nothing can capture a Batman score better than Danny Elfman's score from the Burton-verse. You've got to have that triumphant Batman music, the Batman Returns theme, the Batman theme. You've got to have it all back. It's got to come back. That old animation style, at least, or at least get the Killing Joke animation style and just jam it out to Danny Elfman's soundtrack. Hell, you guys could even throw Prince in there again. That would be so cool. It would make a tribute to the late Prince. Get Michael Jackson in there for all we care. Even get the band that sang Face to Face from Batman Returns. That would be freaking awesome. You could put any of that music in. It would be great. Next up, would Batman Resurrection and Revolution be a movie? Or better yet, a series? I'm going to go in a cross between and say miniseries. How many episodes? Well, normally a miniseries is like 10, 1 to 10, 10 episodes long. I would say Batman Resurrection itself would at least need 7 episodes, 45 minutes to about an hour long. The finale at least being an hour long. That would be just enough to capture everything that you really need to capture. Yeah, you'll have to shave out little elements from the book, Batman Revolution, however, I believe 8 episodes, maybe 9, 45 minutes to maybe an hour and a half. Why an hour and a half? There's a lot that happens in Revolution, and a lot of it focuses on a certain character in there. Now that I've done this little bit here, this really wasn't hard to do. I'm going to get to the casting Dream Team choices, and this is going to be a little easier to do than most of my Dream Team voice casts or whatever. This one's going to be kind of easy. So let's move forward to the Dream Team casting ideals. Let's go. This one's going to be fairly easy to do. This is the already alive actors who can reprise their role and just do voiceover. So Bruce Wayne and Batman, Michael Keaton can come back. Selena Kyle can come back as Michelle Pfeiffer. She could do voiceover. Christopher Walken can return as Max Schreck. Andrew Bryanarski can come back as Chip Schreck. Billy Dee can come back as freaking Harvey Dent. I mean, you've got everyone here. They can basically reprise their roles again. Unfortunately, there is some of the people who are missing that will not be able to reprise their roles, but that is for the retired or deceased actors of the series. Alright, let's start off with the biggest one. Commissioner Gordon, originally portrayed by Pat Hingle. Now, unfortunately, he had passed away, and yeah, we do get quite a bit of Commissioner Gordon. Now, who do I think would be a good replacement for Commissioner Gordon? I'm actually going to say, quite possibly, and this one's probably going to surprise a few people, Richard Epcar. Why Richard Epcar? Well, he has portrayed Commissioner Gordon several times. Now, he is a lot deeper voiced than Pat Hingle's take on the character, but I don't know. I think that if Epcar wanted to, he has played sillier characters in the past before. I mean, there was Thunk from Robotech, at least I believe that was the character's name. He has played sillier characters in his past, goofier characters. I think he would be able to capture the voice of the character of Pat Hingle's version and kind of do a version on his own in the Pat Hingle format of Commissioner Gordon. I think it would be really well done. Now, I do not do AI on my channel, so I don't have any clips of him reading in the character's voice or anything, but I do think it would be the better way for me to show it is to show clips of some of the sillier characters that Richard Epcar has portrayed, but I honestly think that this version of Commissioner Gordon would be really good. It probably would be a great take on the character, and of course Richard Epcar is a very talented voice actor, so yeah, I think he would just kick ass. I mean, come on. It's Richard Epcar, guys. I love this guy. The Gentle Giant Epcar would be great. Here's a voice clip of one of the characters he voiced with a sillier tone to his voice. That kind of gives me vibes of Pat Hingle's performance. So, after that, I will move on to the next character.
You got us into this mess. Monk! No! What are you doing? We could have been safely out of this by now, but no, you've got this holy mission to blow up Reflex Point. Now look where we are.
Monk, are you out of your mind?
Now the next big one is Joker. Yes, I am aware that Jack Nicholson is still alive, but he has long since retired. He hasn't done a movie since 2010, and I highly doubt that he would really want to come back to play Joker or to voice Joker. I mean, if he does, I'm fine with it. but I highly doubt he will. The guy's kind of a recluse nowadays, and he lives alone, so I highly doubt that he would really want to come back and portray the Joker again, even if it's in a voice performance. But I do know a good replacement for him, and this one is kind of odd. Back in the 90s, or 80s at least, but mainly the 90s, this actor was considered the Diet Cola Jack Nicholson. And honestly, I'm going to say Christian Slater. Yeah, I'm basing this off a joke from the TV show The Critic, which that is the clip I'm going to show. I know it's actually not Christian's voice, and Christian is a very well-established actor, had a big comeback nowadays, but I am aware the fact that this is ironically thanks to The Critic calling him the Diet Cola Jack Nicholson. I think Christian would be able to capture Jack Napier / Joker's voice really well. I mean, it's kind of an odd take. He doesn't sound a lot like Jack Nicholson, but because of events that are in this book, I think that's kind of the idea. He's supposed to sound similar to Jack, but not like Jack at the same time. And I dare not spoil why. But like the book says, the funny thing about Joker is there's 2 in every deck. Anyhow, yeah, I think Christian Slater would be able to capture the gruffness of Jack's Joker, and he is a bit on the younger side, a lot younger than Jack. So if Jack did come back, Jack would sound kind of off. I know I just showed bias with Michael Keaton's version, saying Michael Keaton would be able to get him perfectly, but I think that Jack, Christian Slater would be able to capture the character in his own way, and honestly, he would be a pretty good Joker on his own if you think about it. He does have the look, especially with those eyes. Anyhow, yeah, I'm just going to go with Christian Slater would be great as Jack Napier / the Joker in this version of Batman Resurrection. It would just be awesome.
I want the truth. You can't handle the truth. I can handle the truth. The truth is you talk like me, you act like me. You don't have an original bone in your body. That's a freaking lie.
Unfortunately, with the loss of George Lane Cooper, Lawrence the Radio Goon, we will have to recast him. And yeah, believe it or not, this character is actually in the book quite a bit, and a lot of the book is told from his point of view, which is kind of interesting. At least, I'd say about 55% of the book is told from Lawrence's point of view. In fact, at the very beginning, he is one of the main focused characters, which is kind of interesting. Unfortunately, his actor had passed away, and who do I think would be a great voice replacement for him? Well, luckily, or unluckily, Lawrence the Radio Goon, or the Boombox Goon, never spoke in Batman 1989. He just worked in Joker's game and carried a boombox. So really, anyone could come from the ground up and be recasted as this character. And the best character I think that would kind of look the part for it and act the part is Dean Norris. Yeah, Hank from Breaking Bad should be freaking Lawrence. I don't know why. I guess it's because the actor and him both look similar, and I think that Dean, who to his credit is normally known for playing good guys, has actually played a lot of bad guys in TV shows before. If you look up shows like Cold Case or other shows such as Bones or Medium, he has played a bad guy in the past, and he has done it very well. Lawrence isn't actually a full-fledged bad guy. He's just kind of a brainless moron who's trying to just get a day's pay or get paid by somebody. And I do love the fact that the book focuses on that. I love that fact. A lot of the book is told from his perspective, which I really like. It does shift characters quite a bit. But yeah, the book is really focuses on Lawrence, and I think Dean Norris would bring his own energy to Lawrence really well. Now, in fairness, a lot of his dialogue kind of features him as he's more of a brainless brute that is just in it just for the money or in it just for the fun of it. And I really like the fact of that. He's actually secretly working for a couple people, and I don't want to spoil who it is, but he does play a big piece of it. And Dean Norris would definitely bring that energy. The guy has played bad guys before, and hell, I'm going to just show a clip of one of his bad guy performances that I really enjoy. I love the fact that, yeah, instead of going the obvious route of casting him as Commissioner Gordon, which I do think he would get his own spin on that really well, I think Dean would definitely capture the energy and the kind of thick-headedness of Lawrence the Radio Goon really well. And yeah, he would be able to capture the dialogue for him in the book awesomely. And he also comes back later in the book quite a bit, so I do love that whole little section. Let's move on to the next one.
My name is Asac Schrader. You can go fuck yourself.
Now we have the final character that would have to be recasted for the book. And unfortunately, it is going to be a hard fit to recast. Michael Goff is my favorite Alfred. I know a lot of people like Michael Caine, and a lot of people like Andy Serkis and Jeremy Irons, but Michael Goff to me is the best version of Alfred we've ever gotten. My second favorite probably would easily either go to Michael Caine or Andy Serkis, but who would be able to capture the sarcastic wit and dry humor that Alfred and Bruce have within the book? They actually have a lot of scenes where they work off each other really well, and some of the best scenes in the book is basically dialogue exchanges between Bruce / Batman and Alfred. And I honestly think, and unfortunately really wish, that they could bring Michael Goff back, but I guess you can't do that. And AI would be an insult to the character. But the actor I would pick for it is simply and easily Colin Firth. Colin Firth is known for doing serious roles, but he can be really funny. If you've ever watched the Bridget Jones movies, yes, I'm a fan of the Bridget Jones trilogy. There's only 3 movies, there's not 4. And I am aware that they're chick flicks. I watch them every Christmas season. I can't help it. I'm a fan. Colin Firth would rock it as Alfred, being able to hit back with some of that energy that Alfred in the book has, and being able to do his own spin on it. He can be a naturally funny guy. He can be a fun villain. He can be a fun and easily enjoyous character. I love that. I love Colin Firth as an actor. I'm a Colin Firth fanboy. Now, if you remember my Batman villain Dream Team voice cast or whatever, I picked him to play the Scarecrow. And, or not the Scarecrow, the Mad Hatter. And I kind of would recast that now, seeing as there are other ways I could do it. But I really think Colin Firth would be able to knock it out of the park with Alfred, especially Burton vs. Alfred. Colin Firth is an incredible actor, incredible range, and I think he would work really well in scenes with Michael Keaton. I mean, it would just really be nice to have that dialogue. And I think he would be able to have that warm, fatherly tone that Michael Goff has. I know, I'm just throwing it around, but I just really like Colin Firth, and I think his tone would be excellent for Alfred in this, especially this version of Alfred, being able to continue on Michael Goff's legacy. So, we're done with the characters that would have to be recasted. Let's move on to the new characters. Who would voice these characters? Let's move on.
What are you doing here?
I just wanted to know if you were available for bar mitzvahs and christenings as well as ruby weddings. Excellent speech.
Next up is Dr. Hugh Oslander. I really do not want to spoil about this character, but the original actor that I would have casted for him, the voice that I heard a lot for this character was Christopher Lee, but he is no longer with us, sadly. But in a way, he is with us, because if you can't get Christopher Lee, you go to Corey Burton, who has voice read for Christopher Lee several times. Yes, I pictured the character of Dr. Hugh Auslander with a Christopher Lee voice and accent, and I think that Corey Burton, who has voice read for him, would capture what fans and John Jackson Miller himself said we need for this character. And Corey Burton is definitely a great fill-in Christopher Lee, and he would be able not just to voice read for Christopher Lee, but give his own spin on the character in a Christopher Lee type way. The man has done voice readings for Saruman the White, Count Dooku, and of course Ansem the Wise, or Diz, in the Kingdom Hearts games when Christopher Lee wasn't there or had long since passed and he filled in. And you cannot really tell a difference. Now, to describe Dr. Hugh Auslander without spoiling any of the book, he is a mad scientist type character. And I really don't want to say he's mad scientist, but he definitely sticks out in the plot and is a possible villain. And while reading the book, I definitely hear a lot of Christopher Lee in this character, and it's just a perfect fit to have Corey Burton voice him and give his own spin on this character. This character is a very important character, and he plays an important part. Let's just say 80% of the book focuses on him and his story, with Smilex and several other things that happen within this in the Smilex ward, but I don't wish to spoil it. Let's just say Corey Burton is the perfect choice for this role. And of course, I'm going to leave off some clips of his voice readings for certain characters that he covered for of Christopher Lee.
I think what matters is that you recognize the mistake. Peace, Ienzer. It was I who was consumed by hatred, who failed you in my obligations as your mentor. Forgive me.
So now we're going down to the main villain, kind of the book of Batman Resurrection, Clayface. And there hasn't been very many actors to portray Clayface. There's been voice acting versions of him and etc. But what type of actor would I think would capture Clayface better than, say, the Batman the Animated Series versions that have used him? I'm going to say Giancarlo Esposito. Yeah, Gus Fring. I'm throwing in Breaking Bad characters here, I guess. Well, what I think is the character of Clayface is basically supposed to have this kind of former handsome actor, yet unwilling participant in certain deeds that happen. But he's supposed to feel kind of manipulative too. And I think Giancarlo's voice would be able to bring in a lot of the weight for the character. Yes, I know I'm mainly casting him for Gus Fring, thanks to Gus Fring in Breaking Bad, but I think he would be able to portray this character in a very great way. And Giancarlo has done campy stuff in his time, other than just playing Gus Fring. I mean, in Monkey Bone, which is a Henry Selick movie that I doubt anyone but me that has watched it probably has no idea what Monkey Bone is. Giancarlo actually plays the devil in it, and he is just campy and over the top, showing that he can get emotional and goofy if he needs to. And his performance as Gus Fring from Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, he would be able to bring layers of Clayface, and really, really well done. I mean, he would be able to capture whole new elements to the character and be able to make the role his own. I think he would be perfect for Clayface. And a lot of the time, Clayface doesn't stay in his monstrous form throughout the entire book, and he is able to transform into certain and imitate people. And I think Giancarlo himself could do some of those imitations because the man is very highly talented. I love the guy. He is just freaking fantastic. Now, if you remember in my Batman Dream Team casting, I thought that he would make a good Two-Face, and I still do, but instead of Two-Face, he's going from Two-Face to Clayface, and I think this is the better choice, especially when Clayface is in his normal human base form. I love every bit of it. Yeah, Giancarlo is my go-to guy for Clayface.
It's all clear. Wait here.
Next is Camille. Now, I'm actually a really big fan of this character. Now, she's not in Batman Resurrection. She is in Batman Revolution and one of the key portions to it. I'm only going to cast 2 characters in this because the book just came out this year and it really needs to be read. Now, you guys have had at least a year to read Batman Resurrection. I mean, I know I just read it myself, so Camille herself is known to be very beautiful and have a very thick accent. And the only actress I can think of with a very thick accent and who is very beautiful is Selma Hayek. Yeah, I know that her accent doesn't exactly match the nationality of Camille, but while reading Revolution, I just hear that really thick accent. And I don't know. I mean, she doesn't have to look like Selma Hayek. I mean, you can't go wrong by looking like Selma Hayek. But her voice would be a perfect fit for the character. And of course, Camille, I do not want to spoil what the character is or what she does. But let's just say her chemistry with another certain character would be excellent. And she just would be able to put a grasp on the character really well. I don't know. Probably Selma Hayek's voice is just what gets her this. I have no idea. But let's move on to the final cast of the list. The Riddler.
Her eyes, a distant firelight burns bright.
Well, the Riddler. This one is going to be interesting. And I've already told John Jackson Miller in my interview, for those who've actually watched it, who I would cast as the Riddler. That's an easy one for me, guys. Crispin Glover. In this version, the Riddler is known as Norman Pincus. Yes, Edward Nygma is not this version of the Riddler. Now, why Crispin Glover? The Riddler is supposed to be described as, well, Norman himself is described as a little awkward, a little eccentric, a little different, but yet a very smart guy who loves his mother and wants to get revenge on the world after his one bad day in Revolution. And I love that. They are writing Norman so well, but the way that they describe him, the way that he is definitely put into the series, and this would be a great tribute for Burton vs. Actors. I know a lot of the cast that I picked aren't typically Burton vs. Actors. They weren't in Burton vs. Films, but Crispin was. He was in Alice in Wonderland, Tim Burton's version of that. And every time I describe, especially seeing Norman with scenes with his mother who is ill, I do not want to spoil why she's ill, I think of the movie Willard and how he's taking care of her in that film and the awkwardness that Crispin brings to the character of Willard. I see all of that bleed into Norman. And while I'm reading Revolution, that's who I see. I see Norman. I see this kind of awkward guy. He's not very good with women. He's not very good at expressing himself outwardly. He's kind of different. He sticks out. He's a social reject. And that's the character I see. I keep seeing Crispin Glover. And it's just strange that I keep seeing that. I don't know why. There are so many actors who could probably portray this really well, who could probably portray Norman unbelievably well. But Crispin is the one that I keep seeing, and a lot of that has to do with his performance in the movie Willard, and the fact that this is based in the Burton-verse Batman world. So, Crispin is a Burton actor. He has done work with Tim Burton before. To me, I think this would be the most perfect casting. Now, I have casted Crispin Glover in my Dream Team Batman video as a villain, but I kind of take that back, and I think that he would be the perfect version of Norman Pincus. While reading the lines, I hear Crispin's delivery. While picturing the character, I picture Crispin. I could see him wearing that green suit. I could see him with the awkward haircut, him being the guy on the phone who informs the police, him finally snapping, and after losing his job and losing his mother, and just having that one bad day, and him becoming one of the best villains out of this. We really need this done, and Crispin Glover really needs to play this character, and I think it's just perfect casting. Anyway, that about wraps this up. If I continue going on, I'm going to spoil things, and I really don't want anyone to be spoiled on these books. These books are really well written.
Mr. Wednesday. Overdue. I have to start with an apology. I've been remiss. I should have reached out to you ages ago.
So, that about does it. I mean, were you guys surprised by some of my choices? Were some of them pretty obvious from the way that I kind of rate them, especially on my X page or Facebook page or whatever? Are you guys kind of just like, wow, these are really bad choices, or these are really great choices? Tell me in the comments on why you think that these are great or bad or whatever. I want to know. Give me some good feedback, give me some bad feedback. I don't care. Tell me in the comments. Anyhow, that about wraps it up. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. I enjoyed making it. It was just a fun little thing, and I have to highly recommend reading both Batman Resurrection and Revolution. They are both worthy of being in the Burton-verse. And while I'm at it, go ahead and read the Batman 89 comics while you're at it. I mean, they're fun too. But right now, Batman Resurrection and Revolution, they're out there. They're ready to go. The author is pretty freaking awesome. He was on my channel as a guest. You guys gotta read those books. They're incredible. Anyhow, that about does it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I enjoyed really making this video. It's been a passion project for almost 3 months now. Is there any more suggestions you want me to do? Any more Dream Team videos? Tell me in the comments. Always remember, I'm listening.
Hello, this is Corey Feldman. Welcome to my studio here in Los Angeles, California. And I just wanted to pop in to say congratulations to Tim. Mr. Tim, I hope everybody's enjoying your videos. He's got some great content, and if you're enjoying his content, make sure you click on that little button right there that says subscribe. Why? Because everything on his channel is Bossa Nova. That's right. Congratulations on your channel, Mr. Tim. I'll be following you, and I know everybody else will too.